Okay, well, if a picture is really worth 1,000 words, I'm about to give you War and Peace. Okay, radioactive waste at Comanche Peak. We basically have two categories of rad waste here. One is dewater and ion exchange and filter media used for purification of plant processes and wastewater. This is filters, this is resin, and this is what they end up in, which is called a high integrity container. The other category of waste we have is dry active waste, consisting of industrial trash, protective clothing, plastic bags and wrapping, metal components, etc., which is radioactively contaminated. Annually, we generate about 300 to 500 cubic feet of the resins and filters and 10,000 to 15,000 cubic feet of DAW. And the difference in those numbers is based on whether we have a 1 outage year or a 2 outage year. Currently, we process our radioactive resins, and they will reduce down to approximately 100 to 200 cubic feet. Our processor is Stoodsvik. They take the Hicks and they what they call pyrolysis. They don't call it incineration because they never use a flame. But they basically, resin is typically 70% water. They basically flash off the water. And so what's left reduces down to about 5 to 1. DAW, after we do some reduction, we dispose of approximately what would equate to 5 to 7 truckloads of DAW per year. And this happens to be the Clive, Utah facility where our Class A wastes are currently being sent. Okay, Unit 1 steam generators and reactor head. We currently have the 4 steam generators. They're about 11,500 cubic feet each, and the 1 reactor vessel head at 5,000 cubic feet that are stored on site. And they're stored on site in this cement mausoleum. That's the one that's getting placed in there for storage at that time. Waste classification. All wastes are classified by their associated activity into 3 classes, A, B, or C, per the MRC regulations. Class A waste have the least amount of radioactivity per weight or volume, because the classification is based off of either one, depending on which table you're looking at. Class C waste have the greatest amount of radioactivity per volume or weight. So if we look at our waste resins and filters, they're typically Class B and C, and they're disposed of in the high integrity containers. And if you remember, those were the lowest volumes. Okay, DAW is typically Class A, and the Comanche Peak steam generators and reactor head will probably be Class A when we do the characterization on them. Back over real quick. Nope. Other direction.
The other way.
The other way. Do one more. And these are the other type of containers we typically use. Our C-vents. They're either 20 by 8 by 8 or 40 by 8 by 8. Mixed waste. Mixed waste is a combination of hazardous waste as defined by the EPA and radioactive waste as defined by the NRC. Currently, we have less than 2 55-gallon drums of mixed waste. All this waste is Class A, and we have no detectable readings on it. We know that it's radioactive because we use some other sensitive equipment to identify it.
And then I'd like to point out on the hazardous waste end of it, that's like, say, gasoline would be hazardous due to the ignitability. And so I think there's a few gallons of
we've got some solvents, a few gallons of Marshall solvent. We've got some lead paint chips, and we've got some refrigerant oil. But like I said, if you combined it all together, it'd be less than 2 55-gallon drums. Part of that reason is that we have an aggressive chemical program to eliminate the generation of mixed waste. The mixed waste that we currently have stored was produced before this program was in place. For example, lead paint chips is one of the forms of mixed waste being stored. Lead is no longer used in any of the painting applications, but if any old paint is removed, we monitor it for lead prior to disposal. We currently have access to 2 burial sites. The one on the left is the Barnwell burial site, which is where our Class B and C wastes go. And the one on the right is the Clive, Utah, where our Class A wastes go. But something's changing. Barnwell facility is going to become unavailable to us in July of 2008. That means that we will have to store our Class B and C waste until a site in Texas opens. Right now, we still have access to the Clive facility for the Class A waste, which is the majority of the waste that we produce. Storage for Class B and C waste will be accomplished using shielded vaults. And these are pictures of a shielded vault, the ones that we have on site. Waste control specialists are trying to license a low-level radioactive waste facility in West Texas, which would be able to accept all classes of radioactive waste. That is currently scheduled to open by 2010-2011. High-level waste. We store all of our high-level waste in the spent fuel pools within a concrete fuel handling building. And just to let you know, even though that looks rough, they're only in a 2 MR field. So you got 12 foot of water there is all that is protecting him, but that's more than enough. Okay, future of high-level waste at Comanche Peak. We're beginning to plan for dry gas storage since the spent fuel pool will reach its capacity sometime in 2013, 2017. Assemblies that are 5 years or older will be placed in concrete and metal canisters and then stored on site. And these are just a couple of examples of dry gas storage at other facilities. Yucca Mountain. DOE is submitting a license application to the NRC on June. They're trying to get it in by June of this year. The current timeline has that facility accepting waste in 2017. That's all I have for now. So, questions? Sure.
The low-level waste, is that, I guess, relatively long-lived?
No, the low-level waste is, it is supposed to be that if you bury it, the NRC's criteria is that it will be at background levels, whatever the background is that it's at, within 300 years. And most of the time, it's less than that.
So the ABC relates to the intensity of it.
Correct. Correct. And what you'll find is at burial sites, they bury B and C waste deeper than they bury the Class A waste. So, and Clive, Utah, they decided not to try to get a B and C license.
So the low level, if it contains any really long half-life, it's so little that
it's very low.
It's mostly short.
Correct.
Okay.
Was the West Texas facility you're talking about the one in Andrews County?
Yes. Any other questions?
Okay, Bob, appreciate that.